I always think of Malcolm Frager as a highly intelligent, very serious, had the best of liberal arts educations as well as the best piano education.
He was the only authentic genius I personally knew.
He was just one of the most likable men I've ever met.
He was a very warm and humane individual, and his great humanity was reflected in his music.
And I think he was a great pianist and not as appreciated as he should have been.
That he was unbelievably well equipped for the instrument is beyond any discussion. He had wonderful hands, wonderful sound, and he could play just about anything and everything written for the piano.
My grandmother was playing something at the piano and my brother is 2 years old. She stops and he plays it. Something musical was going on long before anybody else knew it.
Someone who did understand young Malcolm was his Aunt Evelyn Rubinstein, Malcolm's first piano teacher.
My mother was just warmth personified. You know, she just exuded love, and she loved her students, and you know, she loved Malcolm. They would get together and play music to piano music, and she would play the orchestral part in concertos that he was working on.
He was our class prodigy. Everybody knew Malcolm was special, really special.
Once I had heard Malcolm play, I knew he was special. It just wasn't like any of my friends who were playing a piano.
Malcolm and I encountered each other on the sidelines, and we started talking, and Malcolm explained to me how he could not participate in any kind of contact sports where it might hurt his hand.
And he was so intent. I would never have disturbed him while he was practicing. He never bragged about himself or promoted himself amongst his peers. That wasn't his style.
Very centered in himself. I didn't find him insecure, which usually shy people are.
He described himself as being painfully shy. He was, occasionally subjected to teasing, and people didn't understand, the implications of being a classical musician.
At this time, more than ever, I was making plans for the future. I imagined myself as a great pianist, touring all over the world, Paris, Vienna, Berlin, and many other places. And if I were to succeed in these future dreams, I must work diligently now.
In 1948, the 13-year-old Frager traveled to Kansas City to participate in master classes under celebrated pianist and teacher Carl Friedberg, keeping detailed journals. Then, Malcolm traveled with Friedberg to New York to continue his studies.
The summer that I met Malcolm Frager was 1956, which was a summer in which I decided that I was not going to be a pianist, that even practicing at 10 or 12 hours a day was not going to put me in the league with Malcolm Frager. I was one of the dozen or so pianists. Malcolm Frager was one of them. So was Anton Querty and Gilbert Kalish, Van Cliburn, James Levine at the age of 10 or 11, all absolutely first-rate pianists. You won't find more than 2 or 3 who are both interested in performance at a very high level and the scholarship that stands behind that performance, and Malcolm was one of those.
Although his family was originally Jewish, Frager was raised in the faith of Christian Science. As a young girl, Sadie Friedman, Frager's maternal grandmother, had become seriously ill and hope for her recovery was all but lost. She rallied unexpectedly following the intervention of a Christian Science practitioner, rendering her a devout Christian Scientist for the remainder of her life. She raised her daughters, Florence and Evelyn, in that faith.